Mew is one of the first mythical Pokemon in the Pokemon franchise, and over the years it has become more and more difficult to capture one. But in today's video, I'm going to explain exactly how we can capture a legitimate Mew using a glitch in the original Pokemon Blue, Red, and Yellow. In addition, we'll also go over some facts and rumors about Mew, and we'll also discuss other ways you could have caught Mew back in the day.
Stars and Stripes!
Hello and welcome to another Carrot Scraps video, and by another, I mean the 53rd. And happy Pokemon Day! If I managed to post this on the right day, today marks 25 years since the original Pokemon games were released. And to celebrate 25 years of Pokemon, I decided to talk about a glitch that I think is really interesting from the original games. And not just that, we're also going to talk about rumors and facts about Mew along the way. So I just wanted to explain something before we get into the details of this glitch. First of all, the footage you're watching is from an original Pokemon Red cartridge because that's where I caught my Mew. Before this, I successfully used the glitch to catch a Mew on the 3DS Virtual Console version of Pokemon Yellow. So this glitch works for the original game and the modern releases of the game. But I caught this Mew with the intention of moving it to Pokemon Home on the Switch. Sadly, I found out the hard way that this was not a possibility. The problem was that the various transfer software on 3DS that allowed Pokemon to go from one generation to the next did not recognize the Mew I caught as a legitimate Mew. So if you caught Mew on the Virtual Console 3DS version of the game, keep in mind that while yes, it can be traded between other Virtual Console versions of the game, that it cannot be moved to Pokemon Home or Pokemon Bank after, which is a little bit of a bummer, but at least you can use it in the main games. So first things first, let's go over how we're going to catch this Mew. Make sure to follow my steps exactly and to watch the game footage closely. I recommend saving at various points so that way you can retry techniques that are a little bit difficult. But I also don't suggest saving too much, and I'll let you know when I think it's a bad idea to start saving. With that out of the way, let's get to it. So first of all, you should be at the part of the game where you're exiting Mount Moon. Keep in mind that the best way to do this glitch is if you haven't completed Cerulean City yet, as there are particular events and trainers that you have to trigger in a specific order to get the Mew to show up in the first place. So your best starting point is right after you exit Mount Moon. Then you'll want to go to the Pokemon Center and heal all your Pokemon. After that, you're going to go to the Nugget Bridge and defeat your rival as well as all the other trainers on the bridge. After you've defeated your rival and all the trainers on Nugget Bridge, I recommend saving, because this is where our instructions get very specific. So again, make sure to listen closely. The first thing you're going to want to do after stepping off of Nugget Bridge is catch an Abra. Now don't go off too quickly, there's a very specific way you have to catch this Abra. You're going to go all the way to the tall grass on the left side of the screen after Nugget Bridge, but you have to avoid trainer battles at all costs. Again, there are certain trainers that if you fight at the wrong time, the glitch won't work, unless you have an earlier save. Specifically, this trainer in the grass where you would be catching Abra needs to be avoided at all costs. So just make sure you walk out of his line of sight, and you can walk right next to him, but be very careful not to trigger a battle with him. He's important for later, so don't forget this. Now, Abras are a little bit difficult to catch because whenever you try to battle an Abra, they teleport immediately. And when they teleport, they can leave the battle without any repercussions. So the way I see it, there are two methods you could go with here. The first and more risky option is that you can have a Pokemon on you that can put Abra to sleep or can paralyze them. And as for the second option, you'll want to buy a lot of Pokeballs. In general, you should have a lot of Pokeballs to catch Abra or Mew, but here specifically, you'd need a lot of Pokeballs. And then what you're going to do is, instead of attacking the Abra, you're just going to throw a Pokeball at them. And then you're going to pray to Arceus that it stays inside. This definitely is a risky tactic, but it actually worked for me. I caught the Abra on my second try, and this is definitely the method that I would recommend. Again, buy lots of Pokeballs and just throw them at Abra until it stays in. After catching Abra, you're going to want to go to your Pokemon party and use Abra's teleport ability to go back to the last Pokemon Center that you were at. This should be the one in Cerulean City because you healed at that Poké Center earlier. Now you're going to return to the other side of Nugget Bridge, but this time go to your right side. On the right side, you're going to fight and defeat this hiker specifically. The one that says, "You're going to see Bill? First let's fight." I want to be very clear, do not fight or be seen by anyone else or the glitch will not work, and you will have to return to a previous save to start over. Technically that's not true, there are only certain enemies that you can't interact with, but I'd rather just you not battle anyone for this to work. Also, this hiker only has an Onyx on him, so keep that in mind when battling. After defeating the hiker, go back to your Pokemon party and use Abra's ability to teleport to go back to the Pokemon Center. And now we're ready to perform the actual glitch. It's very easy to mess this part up, so it might be a good idea to save right before trying this so you can try it over again if you fail. And on a side note, this is the last place that I would recommend saving your game. I'm not positive about this, but it's possible that saving after this point could ruin the glitch moving forward. Either way, I wouldn't take any chances. If you mess up later down the line, it's better to just start here than to mess everything up. So now we are going to go back up Nugget Bridge, and we're going to go to the left side of the screen again, and this time we are going to step into the line of sight of the trainer that we avoided earlier. But you're going to have to do this in a very specific way. You're going to step into his line of sight, and at the same time, you're going to open your start menu. Once the trainer is on screen, and once you're sure he's within range, you're going to open up your menu, go to your Abra again, and use the teleport ability. After you teleport, you'll know that you've done everything correctly if the trainer's exclamation point will appear above his head, even though a battle is not about to commence. I found it's easier to do this on the original cartridge version of the game rather than the virtual console version on my 3DS, so just keep that in mind that in my experience you might have to be more careful on the 3DS. So I say open the menu at the same time, but actually it's more like as you are walking into the position that will trigger the trainer battle, you open your menu. Again, this is not easy, so be ready to try repeatedly. One more time just to reiterate, you walk into this trainer's site and open your menu at the same time. And if you do it right, the trainer will have an exclamation point like it normally does when a battle is about to start. After your menu opens, you're going to return to your Pokemon party and use Abra's teleport ability to go back to the Cerulean City Pokemon Center. So that was mostly the hard part, but we still have a couple of more steps to go. After teleporting, you're going to go back up the Nugget Bridge again, and this time go on the right again. You're going to trigger a battle with this youngster trainer by stepping into his line of sight exactly how you see it on my screen. You're going to want to press your character against the wall and walk into his line of sight from afar, allowing them to approach you. You'll know it's the right trainer if they say, "Dad took me to a great party on the SSN at Vermilion City." This youngster will have a slowpoke, so keep that in mind when trying to defeat this trainer. After the battle, teleport one last time to the Pokemon Center in Vermilion City, walk back to Nugget Bridge, and if you did everything right, your start menu will open automatically as you're walking up the bridge. You're going to close the menu and your battle with Mew will begin. So with the instructions on how to trigger this battle with Mew out of the way, let's talk a little bit about this Mew specifically and then talk about Mew in general. So the Mew that you're going to trigger with this glitch is going to be level 7 and will only have the attack Pound. I would suggest bringing a lot of Pokeballs to throw at this Pokemon. And honestly, catching this Mew is very simple, just make sure you don't defeat it by mistake. I started using this Mew in my run of Pokemon Red. It levels up really fast. At level 10, this Mew will learn the normal type move Transform. At level 20, they will learn the normal type move Mega Punch. At level 30, they will learn the very powerful normal type move Metronome, which will randomly choose any attack regardless of power or typing. This is one of the coolest moves in the game, and I feel like it really adds to the allure of whatever Pokemon is using it. I remember when I first found out about this move as a kid with Togepi, it really blew my mind. And lastly, at level 40, Mew will learn the Psychic type move, Psychic. Very original. Additionally, Mew can learn every TM and HM in the game. Mew is a Psychic type Pokemon and is known as the new species Pokemon. It was also considered a legendary Pokemon outside of Japan until its classification was changed to mythical. According to various Pokedex entries throughout the series, Mew's existence is highly speculated, but there are various theories suggested about the origin of this Pokemon and the potential reason it can learn any move regardless of typing. Now that we've got the facts out of the way, let's talk straight fallacies about Mew. There were so many rumors about Mew when the games first came out. Seeing as how the internet was in its infancy, and these rumors were passed by word of mouth with very little fact-checking, it's no wonder they spread unchallenged for so long. Honestly, these rumors have persisted throughout the years, with new rumors being created constantly, and people insisting that old debunked rumors are somehow still true. The biggest rumor about how to encounter Mew that I remember, and I'm sure most people do, is the one that focuses on the truck near the SS Anne. According to the rumor, Mew was just waiting in the back of that truck, and the player had to do something to trigger a battle with them. A lot of rumors said that you had to use strength to move the truck, and then either a Team Rocket hideout would be hidden underneath the truck, or Mew would just show up and battle you. I don't know how this rumor started. I think the idea of Mew was just so captivating, and this truck just seems so out of place in a world where not many people drive. It's totally grasping at straws, but I can almost see why this truck was the center of such mystery. But as I said, these are just rumors and these have been debunked. There's nothing super special about this truck. It's just here. The only special thing are these stories that you got to tell with your friends at lunchtime. I love that this rumor exists, and I never miss an opportunity to talk about it. Another rumor is that people believe that the Pokemon Ditto could potentially be related to Mew in some way. One piece of evidence that supports the rumor is the fact that Ditto is famous for its ability to transform, and that one of Mew's first attacks that it can learn is Transform, which I admit is pretty rare in the Pokemon world if you're not a Ditto. Another theory is that the potential connection between Ditto and Mew is that Ditto is actually a failed failed attempt at cloning Mew. This idea can be supported by the fact that there are many Ditto at the Pokemon Mansion in Pokemon Yellow, where the Mewtwo experiments took place. Mewtwo, of course, being the first successful clone of Mew. Also, the fact that Ditto's size and base stats are so similar to Mew's have been used as evidence to suggest that this rumor is true. But all that being said, there has never been a confirmed link between the two, just compelling details. Many have even speculated that Mew 3 also exists somewhere in this game. But it would seem the only evidence to support this is from the manga and not the games. And that version of Mew 3 is just not what people were thinking. There were also various rumors detailing methods similar to the glitch we discussed earlier to capture Mew. Most of these other methods weren't true though. So many rumors with a lot of enthusiasm behind them, but sadly, they're all just that. Rumors. But you know what? Who could fault people for coming up with such wild rumors if a method to catch Mew that actually exists in the game is as cryptic as it was? That stuff really does exist in this game, so it just drives your imagination crazy. But I have a question for you. If this is the only way to capture Mew in the cartridge version and the virtual console versions of Blue, Red, and Yellow, why is Mew's information even in the game? This is the beginning of the franchise, and they coded in a Pokemon that you can only capture via a glitch that they probably don't want you to use? It's not like this Pokemon is an accident, it's Mew, it's the 151st Pokemon. But in terms of legitimate gameplay, there's no way to catch a natural Mew in Blue, Red, and Yellow. So why is its information even in the game? Well, let's talk about the various ways you could have legitimately gotten this Mew in these games. So Mew was coded into the game to coincide with a Toys R Us and Nintendo Power event. If you lived in the United States or Canada in 1999, you could visit a Toys R Us and get the opportunity to win a Mew. And this Mew would be added to your personal copy of Pokemon Red or Blue. If you arrived at the Toys R Us, you'd be given a sticker sheet with a 1 in 5 chance to win, and if you did, you'd be given a legitimate Mew for your personal copy of Pokemon. But only the first 1,500 winners would receive this Mew, and after that, no dice. And from what I know, Toys R Us employees would take the cartridge and put it into some machine that they had that would automatically put the Pokemon into your game. I haven't found a lot of information detailing how this works though. But what if there wasn't a Toys R Us near you? How would you get a Mew then? Well, there was also a Nintendo Power magazine giveaway that would gift a Mew to 1,000 applicants. I'm not sure how the application process worked. I got to assume it's somewhat random. So those were the two ways that you could get a legitimate Mew back in the day on your Game Boy cartridge. And while I'm sure certain Nintendo Power and Toys R Us employees put that Mew on their personal copy behind the scenes, you know, without filling out an application or winning a contest. But I love these two numbers so much, and I love the idea that there are just 2,500 legitimate Mews somewhere out there on Game Boy cartridges. That's the stuff of like video game legend, you know? But those were the only ways you could get a legitimate Mew in your Gen 1 Pokemon games. In English-speaking countries, that is. Because in Japan, there were multiple events where people would receive Mews as a gift or as a prize during the 90s. For example, there was the Next Generation World Hobby Fair Dome Cup Mew. That name rolls off the tongue. It was distributed to fans to promote the National Dome Cup tournament and was revealed in the November 1997 issue of CoroCoro magazine. There were multiple venues and 10,000 Mews were distributed at each venue, except in Tokyo where 20,000 Mews were distributed. That's insane compared to how many Mews we were given in the United States, Canada, and the UK. But how could you get this Mew? Well, all you had to do was send in a postcard with an application ticket, and details about that application ticket were mentioned in that previous CoroCoro magazine. I'm just caught up on this number though. That's 5 total venues with 10,000 at 4 of those venues and 20,000 at the 5th. That's 60,000 legitimate Mews in Japan. That is so not fair to English-speaking countries. That is unacceptable. Then there was also the Nintendo Space World Mew from 1997. This event was also announced in CoroCoro magazine in October of 1997. And again, if you wanted a chance to get this Mew, you'd have to get a postcard from CoroCoro magazine and send it in. And once you arrived, you'd interact with a machine where you'd download the Mew via link cable. And this machine was called the Mew Machine. How ominous. And the amount of people who would receive a Mew this time was 100,000 people. Again, that's insane. All the sources that I'm reading this from say things like only 100,000 or only 10,000, but that is so much. That's dramatically way more than any of the events in the States. And this event was even extended longer than it was originally intended to. And the last Japanese Mew event that I could find was the CoroCoro 20th Anniversary Mew. Once again, this news was articulated in the June 1997 issue of CoroCoro to celebrate their 20th anniversary. So they were actually giving out a number of prizes, prizes, but the #1 prize was one of only 10 Mew. Now that is exclusivity. Now that is what I'm talking about. None of this 100,000 Mew stuff. And again, the way you would win this Mew is by using an application from Korokoro magazine and sending it in within a certain amount of time. But it seems like in this event, you would have to actually mail your cartridge of Pokemon Red or Green, in Japan of course, to be sent out, have the Mew be placed in it, and then sent back to you. That is super fascinating to me. When I first found out that the way they would put Mew onto your cartridge was by literally putting it into a machine, my mind was blown. But now the idea of me sending a copy of my video game off to somebody else to hope that they, deal with it the right way and are very nice to it, that scares me so much. But it's also so cool. I really love this. Now, to be clear, there definitely were other Mew giveaway events. For example, like the Christmas 2000 Germany giveaway, the 2002 Club Nintendo Mexico giveaway, the unforgettable Finland and Norway 2000 Mew giveaways, or the 2001 Denmark Mew giveaway. As I do more research, I realize there's tons and tons of other Mew giveaways from the end of the 90s to the early 2000s. But my point wasn't to catalog every single Mew giveaway. It was more to give context for why Mew's information is in the original games if you can't naturally catch Mew in them. Because without any of these events, the only way to get a Mew is through this glitch, or similar glitches. So those are the only ways that you could access that information and get a legitimate Mew on your physical copy of the game. But what about the virtual console version of the game? Is the Mew still in the virtual console version of these games because of oversight on Nintendo's part? Or is there some legitimate way to get a Mew on the virtual console? Well, the answer is that there actually was an event where people who owned the virtual console version of the game could receive a legitimate Mew. And this time the United States and Canada were left out of it. If you were lucky enough to live in Ireland during 2014, you might be one of the few people who have a legit Mew in your virtual console game. You see, during an event celebrating the release of Pokemon Sun and Moon in the UK, a special Mew was given to a handful of fans who had a copy of the virtual console game. And that's it. To my knowledge, there were no other events that allowed players to get a Mew like this. It is kind of lame that there weren't more opportunities, both for the original console and the virtual console versions of this game to capture Mew, or to be gifted Mew in this case. But that being said, I think it definitely adds to the mystery of a mythical Pokemon like Mew. And I think Nintendo and Game Freak know that. It takes a lot of work to capture every single Pokemon, but a big criticism of Pokemon back in the day is that legendary Pokemon can just be captured, and it demystifies them. So for a while now, I feel like Nintendo has been more careful with when and where they released mythical and legendary Pokemon. I also think it's hilarious that this first event was only for the United States and Canada, and then this second event was specifically for the UK. So either way, somebody was left out each time. It just feels like each country was being very petty about Pokemon, essentially. But luckily, we can still catch Mew using this glitch. But what about in other games? Are there other ways for us to catch Mew in the modern Pokemon games? Well, Pokemon, Game Freak, and Nintendo still try to keep legendary and mythical Pokemon out of circulation so they can personally release Pokemon during events. That's the way I see it anyway. But Mew is still popped up here and there. Mew is included with the Pokeball Plus, which is a Pokeball Joy-Con controller released to coincide with the launch of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Those games, of course, being remakes of Pokemon Yellow, and that were meant to combine elements of the traditional Pokemon RPGs and Pokemon Go, the mobile app, in an attempt to merge both audiences. And speaking of Pokemon Go, it's actually possible for players to catch a Mew on their mobile app. However, they must follow various steps in order to get the opportunity to catch one. Mew is a Pokemon surrounded in mystery. The elusive Pokemon has spawned dozens of untrue stories that overlook the cryptic existence of real ways to encounter the Pokemon in the original games. But the rumor mill is one of my favorite parts of Pokemon. The existence of legendary and mythical Pokemon encourage the people of the Pokemon world and players alike to speculate on the origins of these creatures. And I think that's really cool. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I hope it was helpful for you in some way. If for some reason you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and to subscribe to my channel for more. If you want to watch me play video games live, you can check me out on Twitch at twitch.tv/carrotscraps, and all my other social media is at carrotscraps, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Thanks again so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Are you getting stuff from the deli? ? I guess I could try a bacon sandwich ? I haven't had one in a while. Period. Or maybe just order bacon if that's cheaper. Period. And then I can put it on my own bread. Period. I don't know. Whew. What do I want from a deli? A deli. That's that recording artist.